Hey, thanks for joining me. I'm going to look at X-Men 2099 today. I have reviewed a couple of the original 2099 titles. It seemed like an interesting experiment at the time. It seems to me like the only one that seemed to be a lasting kind of concept was the Spider-Man one. I think that comes down to them once again, somebody hitting upon literally the most perfect alternate Spider-Man costume design ever made. Like Spider-Man's costume is one of those that's absolutely flawless the way it is, and there's no changing it that's ever going to be better. But Spider-Man's one of those few characters that's had a alternate design that actually works really well. The black costume is amazing, and the 2099 version is amazing. The art in the Spider-Man one was fantastic. This is not a Spider-Man review. I know. I'm getting to it. There's a point. But the art was fantastic. The concept was kind of fine. I collected it for a few issues, but it never really stuck with me. I only recently, in the last year or two or whatever it was, I've done a video on the Punisher 2099, and that was kind of okay. Nothing amazing, but it was okay. I did Ravage, the Stan Lee comic. Boy, that one, look, I'm sorry to say, it was terrible. Just awful. And I picked up one issue and I moved right along, never to pick it up again. I've had people tell me that other writers come along and took it over and kind of twisted it around and made it more interesting. I'll just have to take their word for that. I never have read the Doom 2099. That is one of those ones that seems kind of interesting to me, but it wasn't for years later until I realized or heard or got wind of the fact that there was actually a couple other extended titles in that line. There was a Ghost Rider, I think, right? But X-Men. I mean, X-Men in this era, the 90s, was the premier title of its day. Nothing even came close, honestly. So it's kind of interesting that they take the 2099 titles, and one of the first ones that they made was not X-Men. It was Ravage, Doom, Spider-Man, and was it Punisher? That was the initial four? Anyway, X-Men 2099. I remember looking at this whenever I finally saw it after a couple of years it had been out, and seeing the cover, and I wasn't impressed. And I still hold that to be true. X-Men is a very interesting, unique property that is kind of amongst the best that comics can be, and it's been the worst. You know, it's with something that's been around that long, you're going to have highs and lows. But taking the concept of the X-Men and moving it a century into the future, what are you going to do? How is this going to come across? I was legitimately interested, finally getting my hands on a copy of it to see what the story's like. But again, in terms of art and the cover, if you were to flash different covers in front of me and make me go, just based on the cover, is this something you want to read? This is a hard no. I would pass this by. If I was only given a limited selection and I had to pick it up based on the cover, I'm skipping by this. It just looks like a generic bunch of asshole superheroes that at this time were becoming like so prominent. I mean, it's dated 93. So Image Comics is going. So you've got nothing but a slew of new team books with a bunch of characters, with a bunch of theoretically badass sounding names and ridiculous costumes, all jumping around, pretending to be the coolest new thing. And this just looks like more of that. Based on the cover and the designs, I am not picking this book up. Now, what sucks is that the artist is Ron Lim. And I have really, really enjoyed Ron Lim's work at times. In fact, one of my favorite comic books ever, Silver Surfer number 50, which was leading right up into the Infinity Gauntlet, is drawn by Ron Lim. And like I said, that's one of my favorite comic books of all time. The story worked really well, but the art in it was just so fantastic. So Ron Lim is talented. He's got all the skills. But the art in this thing, it's just kind of okay. It's just sort of... It's serviceable. It tells the story. Ron Lim knows how to tell a story. I'm not ever confused on panel flow and composition and understanding what I'm seeing, but there's nothing exciting going on. And I'm sorry, especially in this era, you gotta fucking pull out all the stops to get people to pay attention. And that did not happen. And how do you have an X-Men book in the 2099 line and not have it be like the most mind-blowing shit you've ever seen? Or at least an attempt to do that. And I swear, like, there's no attempt to make this visually stunning. It's just a by the numbers group of characters in a future setting, and the story sucks. It's so cliche. It's so boring. It's so by the numbers. It's perfectly serviceable. It's fine. It's definitely a comic book. But when it's X-Men, by God, do you really, really have a huge opportunity just to blow people away? Another problem, I think, is the X-Men historically, especially through the 90s, have, but also in the 80s, they've had nothing but untold amounts of various future iterations or alternate universe versions. We've just seen, like, there's the Days of Future Past stuff. There's the future where Bishop comes from. There's the future where Cable comes from. There's the theoretical future where they think Gambit is the one who killed all the X-Men. There's just characters upon characters from alternate timelines in alternate costumes. And this is just another one. And it's boring looking. And I'm sorry to say that, but I wanted it to be awesome. And when you have a 2099 title and it's the X-Men, I want to say you pick absolute top talent. And sometimes you could say that Ron Lim is the guy, but boy, is it just by the numbers. But I have to also credit the writer for not making something interesting. Again, it's so just standard, like there's a bunch of future dialogue, like talking about, God, how do I explain this? Where what in the 90s, like the kind of like dialogue you would hear in like a B movie about the science fiction future of the Earth, where it's just a bunch of cliche dialogue talking about internets and downloads and data logs and stuff like that. It just, I'm like, it's hard. It's hard to introduce a new book and get this story off the ground and get it going. I understand you got to get your ducks in a row to get everything going. I 100% understand that. It's not easy. A first issue is not simple, but if I would have picked this up and read it in 93 when I was like a 16-year-old kid, I was not going to be interested in the next title, and I'm still not. Excuse me. Starts out, there's this facility in the Nevada desert. It talks about how it used to be, it was built to be this amazing, self-sufficient, non-polluting, whatever facility, and then horrible things happen. Now other people have taken it over. There's a big painted X on the door. I wonder what that is a reference to. And this wandering guy who's lost and looking for direction and help and assistance comes to the door. He's got some kind of a pass to get in. The door opens and there's this shadowy figure standing there. And there is this giant metal monster thing. Again, this is all very clear, understandable storytelling, but I just feel like the visuals should just have more of a punch. And what can I say? I'm just repeating myself. A 2099 title with X-Men, and I'm bored 2 pages in. I'm being a little bit dramatic, I understand, but I just had a sinking feeling. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a slog to get through. Giant metal guy, and this guy refers to the human as meat. You got a reason to be here, meat. And then down here he's like, are you a fighter, meat? Get lost, meat. That is so, I hate that term. It's so boring and dumb. And I've heard it, I feel like everywhere. It's this edgy, like, oh, you're not even a living being. You're just meat to be processed. Anyway, mysterious new guy has basically a card of some type that gets him inside and access to somebody else. So he comes inside, and then I see this big shot. It says The Gathering. And I'm like, okay, here's a bunch of people. But I'm sorry, I'm like, what are they doing? Is this like a mosh pit and they're dancing? Is it a battle arena? Are they killing each other? Is it a giant sex orgy? Are they all fucking? I don't know what they're doing. There's just a bunch of shapes in here doing something. Again, granted, visually, as an artist, when you get like, it says panel, so it's panel 4 out of 5 panels. You're supposed to draw a big shot of an open room with a bunch of characters all together to show a mass of people together doing something. That is so time consuming and hard. I think they're all supposed to be dancing and hanging out and having fun. It's like a club. So I don't know. I imagine it kind of like in The Matrix when Neo goes to that club where he runs into Trinity, the music is bumping and everyone's dancing. Or even in the sequel where they go to the giant caves underground and Morpheus gives his big speech and they all have a big giant sex orgy dance off. I guess that's what this is. I mean, and I guess, all right, so there's like a glistening light up here with like people again, it was kind of hard. I was like, what is going on? But the writer, I don't know who John Francis Moore is. Based on this comic, again, it's just serviceable. It's just okay. It did not blow me away, and I think that there's a different way to approach telling the story. But again, I understand first issues are hard. You got to introduce everything and set everything up and give everyone's motivations and characterizations. And then when you're an X-Men title, there's multiple characters, and you got to understand the world and the universe they live in, and it's so much. I don't know what the answer is, but I don't feel like this was the best version of it. But this guy, he's like, holy shit, I thought this place was supposed to be deserted. So yeah, penciler is Ron Lim. I was interested to see Adam Kubert is doing the inking. I got to say that Adam Kubert's inking doesn't necessarily stand out as anything unique or given a specific flair. It just looks like Ron Lim art. So it's certainly good, but Adam Kubert's better serviced as I think a penciler. He's really good. But it was interesting to see him doing the inks. But they're up here, and then mysterious guy, basically Neo, runs into Trinity in the bar, or the dance club, orgy, fuck off, whatever it is. He's like, I can't believe I've never seen anything like this. Bumps into the girl, and she's like, hey, brother, you look like you're lost. Are you new here? And he's like, and she knows his name. You're Fitzgerald. He's like, how do you know my name? She says, I know everybody at the gathering, so don't tell me. Let me guess. You're a mutant, I bet. He's like, mutant? I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, relax, brother Fitz. There's no shame in your identity. I'm a mutant. Everyone calls me Tina, short for Serpentina. And she slithers her arms around him, kind of like a snake thing. She's got snake tattoos or dragon tattoos or fucking something. Lizard something on her arms. So she wraps her arms around him, and he's freaking out. I would too. She's like, I know you're nervous. Some people just don't like to be touched. And so new guy, Fitzgerald, he's like, is everyone here a mutant? She's like, no, most are nomads and fringers. A lot of corporate dropouts and discards, even a few degens. But in this place, you're not just some corporate barcode sorted and filed like a product. Here, everyone has a name. Everyone's equal, no matter where they come from. So we're setting up, these are a bunch of societal rejects, and everyone's welcome here. And so you kind of see where we're going. And then she like points up to the stage. I'm like, okay, there's a stage. Was a guy up here rocking on the stage or not? I didn't see anything. But there's a dude up here. And she goes through this long explanation to be like, through movement, through sound and motion, he's creating music. So he's like a super rock star. And they say that he is a metallic mimetic. So he can change his body into different types of metal, and different types of metal reverberate different sound waves in different waves. And then these sound waves are bouncing off these whatever floating iPads, and it creates music. That's a long description just to say this guy just moves and changes into metal and he makes hard rock music. It sounds very futuristic, cyberpunk, and either, depending on if this is a movie and if you got a shit director, either fucking cool or B-movie stupid crap. But they're like, holy shit, he's amazing. She's like, yeah, he's great. Wait till you meet. And then they mention this name that I know is a name from the New Mutants, and I've never known exactly how to pronounce it. Right there. XI''AN. I'm just going to guess that it's pronounced Zion? Is it Zion? I don't know. And now, so I'm just going to say Zion. And if it's wrong, I get it. I understand that I'm telling you up front. I don't know how to pronounce it. You can correct me in the comments, but please just like accept it and let's move forward amicably. She's like, wait till you meet Zion. Almost like Zion, like Matrix. Jesus Christ. It all loops together. But he'll change your life. It'll be a great thing. So now back into another room, the giant robotic douchebag guy who entered or let the guy into the club, you know, the doorman or whatever. He's like, where's Zion? Shakti. So you got a girl named Shakti. Oh, okay, hot girl, dark hair. And giant metal guy. She says his name is Junk Pile. Yes, his name is Junk Pile, which sounds like a stupid transformer. But he's pissed off because he's supposed to be protecting Zion. I'm completely certain I'm saying that wrong. I'm supposed to be protecting him. And she's like, he's more than capable of taking care of himself, but don't worry about it. And so he gets kind of mouthy with her, and I guess he grabs her, but she's able to do kind of a psychic connection, which I think this little bouncing beam of light traveling up his arm into his brain, showing how she can disable his brain functions, basically shut him down, putting him in his place to demonstrate, oh my God, she's so epically powerful and cool. Okay, sure. This is an Xmen book, I guess, though, right? Now we're somewhere else in Las Vegas because we were in Nevada previously, so we're a little ways away in Vegas, and there's some kind of like the text is kind of explaining a super bad guy. I don't know why the text boxes keep changing color. But this guy is riding a horse. But then the Zion guy shows up and he talks some shit to this bad guy. He's like, you keep kidnapping members of nomadic tribes for your decadent amusement. Your traffic in human lives is over, Singe. So this guy's name is Singe, S-Y-N-G-E. Okay, cool. Bad guy mouths off to him saying, I'll do whatever the fuck I want. I'll buy and sell anyone I please. You're just a piece of shit mutant. Go fuck yourself. And our leader guy, I guess, Zion, well, I guess we don't know who he is or what he is or what his motivations are. We're just being introduced to people randomly. He tells them how tough he is, and he's like, if you continue to hurt my people, I'll make you suffer. I have the power to destroy you and all of this. So he takes off a glove. I guess he's only got a glove on one hand. Taking off his glove, it looks like some kind of decaying fist or lizard texture, scales. I don't know. I don't know what it is. And it doesn't have to tell me. We just have to see that his hand has got something weird. And then he reaches over and touches this stone wall, and it just collapses. But also, the entire background's changed. Like, there's a building and a wall, and then as he walks away, the building's gone. It's just a tree, and then the color makes me think that it's sky. So I'm like, is the implication that he dissolved the wall, but also the entire building? It's kind of weird. I don't get it. But it's showing that with a simple touch, he can disassemble, disintegrate the surroundings. So is this is the bad guy, a bad guy? And this guy's, like, you're not going to be dealing in human trafficking. So we can assume this is our hero of some type. So now we move on to a whole other section. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't say elsewhere. It just shows ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. They got a guy chained up and kind of in like a ridiculous kind of like Hunger Games type display of like it's a game show to show to the people where lives, human, mutant, whatever, are disposed of and treated as if it's just property and not a valuable life. They got a guy up here and they're going to execute him and put him through all these steps, and everyone's going to watch, and it's going to be this great show. So we're obviously probably supposed to be on the side of this guy. They refer to him as Bloodhawk. I was like, oh, shut up. Bloodhawk. Like, it's the most 90s name. I bet Liefeld's pissed that he didn't grab onto that name before these guys did. He's like, Bloodhawk. Oh, my God. A Bloodhawk. And then Liefeld gets hard and he starts jerking off and drawing pages with close-up on the faces and no backgrounds and gritting teeth. And he's like, look, this is my version. Anyway, they're going to execute him or something like that. And our tough guy gets, pissy and smacks the announcer. So, of course, he's got some restraints on that electrocute him. They knock him to the ground. And our bald, shirtless guy, who we're supposed to have sympathy for, he's saying that your family is a plague upon the land that I will end. Tell your father he cannot kill me easily. And they make fun of him and kick him in the nuts, drop him to the ground. And Hot Girl comes up and kisses him because that's what happens in X-Men books. And so Girl, she's like, haha, he's going to go to his death knowing that my kiss is the last upon his lips. So I guess making out with him is supposed to make him feel bad. But I guess if you're absolutely disgusted by the evilness of this girl, which is supposed to be the implication, it pisses you off. So they haul away the guy, and then I guess he's her brother and sister. Yeah, she says brother. So he's disgusted that she would make out with the mutant trash. And she's like, whatever, I'll do whatever the hell I want. So shut the fuck up. So they're like, all right. They're fighting. They toss the big heroic guy, again, presumably heroic guy, whose name is Bloodhawk, into a room. They're like, can you believe this guy? Even with the neural restraints, he's still struggling. You think that this is a sign of strength or stupidity? I'm like, okay. And then over here, I'm like, oh, enter the world of 2099. I'm like, oh, that's a big ad. It's kind of interesting, a super sort of ish futuristic city in the 2099. All right, whatever that is. Then you flip it over, and suddenly you got pages from Spider-Man 2099. And I was like, wait, whoa, what? Okay. Oh, I'm like, is this an ad? Oh, okay. You got Spider-Man 2099. Again, I forget. It's Rick Leonardi on the art, right? His Spider-Man and his figure work is exponentially awesome. It's so great. So, okay, you get 2 pages of Spider-Man 2099, at least so far. I'm like, all right, there's some of the stories. So you keep flipping, and then just suddenly it's Ravage 2099. I'm like, wait, what? What the fuck? Okay. Oh, all right. Okay, I'm starting to, it's an ad for the 2099 line, I guess. It doesn't make any sense. It's just suddenly a page in the book. So Spider-Man, then Ravage, and I'm like, boy, this just looks super not interesting. All right. Then Doom 2099. Same writer, John Francis Moore. Pat Broderick is the penciler. Again, I gotta say, this art is fine-ish, but considering kind of the stakes that are out there, I feel like they should have found a better, more dynamic artist. Look how small that fist is to his face, and how unbelievably boring these panels are. It's fine. It gets the job done technically, but I'm sorry, it's boring. And Doctor Doom, 100 years in the future, you should do better. Boring as fuck. Again, I'm interested in the concept, but the art is just turning me off big time. So there's Doom. And then you flip it over, and now there's just a double-page splash of just it. You're like, well, who's this? I'm like, oh, this is the cover character. So this is X-Men 2099. Oh, okay. That's weird. I mean, it's as a visual splash of characters. It's big. It's impactful. They're all running towards us. It's impactful. It's big. But the designs on every one of these characters, I'm like, not interested in one of these characters just based on their visuals. So double page spread. And then, okay. And then suddenly it's X-Men 2099. And I'm like, we're reading X-Men 2099. What is this story? So again, I was lost. So it's got more credits because some of these don't have credits. The Doom one does. The Ravage one has no credits. The Spider-Man one has no credits. So as I'm flipping through these, as soon as you get to credits, I'm like, is this a new story? But that's Doom. And then you get a splash page, double splash of the X-Men. And then now we're on an X-Men story. I'm like, did the story just change? Is this done in chapters or something? So it's got these characters running around. We've kind of been introduced to, we haven't seen this guy yet. We've seen this guy, I think. There's blonde girl. There's mysterious guy. I'm like, I am so confused. What is going on? And then you flip it over. Punisher 2099. No credits, no writer, no penciler, no inker. Just the logo. There's Punisher. I'm like, what is going on? And then a Hulk? Hulk who looks like Pitt? That's got to be intentional. Giant mouthful of teeth, long hair, no nose, big claw hands. Hulk used to be drawn by Dale Keown, and now it looks like Pitt. It's got to be a fucking... There's a reason for that. But no credits. It's just, there's Hulk. I'm like, I am so lost. And then suddenly we get back to story. I'm like, okay, holy shit. This entire section right here, all these pages, is just an insert as an ad for the 2099 line. And it fucking interrupts the flow of the book like a son of a bitch. It was really dumb. It's terribly put together. Somebody should be written up for that, put on a last and final for that fucking stupid screw up. Because it just interrupted the flow of the story, and it made me stop and flip back and forth. I'm like, what is going on? But to continue the story, going all the way back, I had to go and remind myself where we were. I'm like, okay, right. Stupid Bloodhawk. They throw him into a room. They're, how is he so strong? They're like, I don't know. Maybe it's his mutroid chromosomes, or like mutant mutroids, or those freaks on Hell Rock. Not that it makes a difference. They're all a bio waste to me. But then, so these are stupid suit-wearing bad guys. A door opens, and then suddenly, I guess, they are encased in crystal. And then, so there's this girl. Hot-looking girl. She says, don't worry, the crystal I've encased you in is porous. You won't suffocate. So then this guy shows up. New girl, new guy. He says, Crystalline, you are more generous with these thugs than I would be. They intended to put your mutant brother to death for amusement. So this girl's name is Crystalline because she does stuff in crystal. And she says, we can argue the importance of compassion later. Mean Streak. Mean Streak. This guy's name is Mean Streak. I bet you he's a speed guy, right? Going fast. So we have Crystalline, Mean Streak, Bloodhawk. Stop it. This is so fucking dumb. Mean Streak sounds like a crappy Transformer name, just like Junk Pile. I'm like, okay. So Crystalline and Mean Streak free Bloodhawk. They take off his wrist restraints and this head thing that was keeping him from thinking or something like that. I don't know. They let him go, and he's like, get off me. I got to get out of here. And like, dude, we just saved you. Like, you could have some gratitude for us. He's like, where's the guards? I'm going to kick him in the nuts for fucking with me. And they're like, no blood. No time. We got you followed. You got to come with us. Let's go. And then, so they get outside of the building, and Bloodhawk's like, dude, I can't stand being inside, and I can take flight again. So he morphs into a giant winged demon lizard thing. And they're like, no, dude, our Xmen sent us after you. And he's like, I know who you're talking about, and he's got dreams of mankind. I dream of the earth. So Bloodhawk is like a warrior protecting the planet, the ecosystem, I guess, the natural world. Sure. He says, tell him I'm not going to become one of his disciples. And Mean Streak's like, wait, you owe us. Bloodhawk takes off, says, I owe you nothing. And he's gone. All right, well, if we're assembling a team, it's going to be difficult. So now we get back with bad guys. They're talking. There's the... this is the guy that was on the horse earlier. And then the Xmen guy touched the wall and disintegrated it or aged it or did something. Well, I guess he did it to his body too. I didn't quite get it. I'm like, what? But I guess this is brother and sister and this is their father. All right, well, we're setting up bad guys and good guys. Back with Hot Girl. So you have Serpentina and Junk Pile and Crystalline and Mean Streak and Bloodhawk and Xmen and I can't remember if we know what this girl's name is. Who cares? I'm actually not even concerned about being accurate with who all these characters' names are because I'm just kind of like, I'm not interested. This book is just, it's all just set up in cheesy B movie futuristic setting. But there's Zion. He's there, and hey, we're here. We're gonna we're making plans, and we're gathering people, and this is important. So now Zion has to go out and talk to his people. So he's on stage. So he's pulling a Morpheus, going on stage out there, and he's like, after 100 years, we are still here. And everyone's happy, and they cheer names, and they all start fucking and dancing. Meanwhile, you got a blind, red glasses wearing, red headband wearing. So I'm like, oh, it's got to be Daredevil or some bullshit. It's not, but whatever. But this guy's sneaking around and then knocks out some security cameras, and everyone's looking around like security cameras have gone out, but everything's okay. And our guy gets up there and he starts giving a speech. Brothers and sisters, we're all outcasts here, mutants, degens, discards, fringers, outlaws, unwanted by corporate structures that see us as only problematic wetware. And then the guy at the beginning of the book, remember him? We haven't seen for pages upon pages now. He's like, it's like he's talking directly to me. She's like, what'd I tell you? So he's giving a speech to inspire everybody. But meanwhile, guy with red glasses and bandana, he's getting a gun out. So you can understand that this is probably an assassination attempt. And of course, Crystalline and fucking Mean Streak, they're back. They're talking like our leader's going to be pissed off because we lost the Bloodhawk guy. Cut back to the guy giving his speech, and he just goes on. And he's giving his speech saying, years ago, before the corporate wars, an entire generation of mutants disappeared in the Great Purge. So, okay, they're starting to talk about the history of mutants in this world. I'm like, okay. He says, neither man nor machine could eliminate Homo superior nor deny us our humanity. From Xavier, we learned unity. From Magnus, the rules of combat. Del Ruiz taught us sacrifice, and Zhao, enlightenment. From their legacy, we know no matter the curse or blessing or of our genetic makeup, we must be willing to fight for our tomorrow. So, okay, at least they mention Magneto and Professor X. That's part of a connection to the X-Men. But new guy, he's down there on the ground, and he spots a glinting up there. He sees a glimmering something on the balcony, a gun. So now we get to see this new guy. He freaks out and he starts charging up his powers, and the text explains that when he did this last time, he charged up and it blew a whole building up, and he's kind of scared of his abilities. But he charges up, shoots, and hits the assassin right in the face. Like, I'm guessing blew his head off. Bad guy shoots and threw his aim off, hit the guy in the shoulder. Everyone's freaked out. Leader guy drops to the ground. And they're like, holy shit, how bad are you hit? He's like, it's pretty bad, but get Shakti. That's right. That's the other girl's name, Shakti. Then, meanwhile, suddenly, from above, through the upper lights, there's a burst of light and energy. And they're like, hey, this is the Singe security enforcement team. You're all under arrest. So the government agents are tracking the mutants, and they're here to take them. So now a fight ensues. They drop down in to attack the assembled people. The metal musician guy, he can literally take on the properties of any metal that he touches. So in this version, he turns himself into solid adamantium, so he's indestructible. Crystalline is firing a bunch of crystal shards, so they're doing mutant superpowered shit. They gather the new guy, and this floor that goes down under the ground takes them, all the main characters, at least down under the ground. And the guy, Zion, or whatever the hell his name is, talks to the new guy, and he's like, I knew that you'd join my X-Men. And new guy says, X-Men? Okay, so it takes all these pages to get to the end of the book to be like, this is the guy who's forming the new X-Men team, which, of course, we knew that's what it was going to be because it's an X-Men 2099 book. Look, the concept, like I said, it's fine. It's not brilliant. It's just fine. It's just okay. Artistically, it's just fine. It's so middle of the road. I give it a 5 or 6 out of 10 across the board. It's just fine, but I'm not interested. I'm not picking up issue 2. If I was a teenager picking up books, that also stems from the fact that at the time I had a limited budget and I couldn't pick up everything. And in '93 there was a quadrillion books to buy, and they were getting more expensive. So you got to pick and choose. So you have a limited window to get my attention. And this is not it. It's very like not it's there's very limited connection to the X-Men, but I understand we're building up to that. I get it. But when it's just a bunch of cheesy cyberpunk future boringness, I don't know. I feel like there should be more. They should have leaned heavier into the nostalgia of the X-Men to grasp the reader's attention while then introducing all these new characters. You know, I can understand people saying, well, you shouldn't rely on nostalgia. You shouldn't rely on the past. You move into the future. Create something new. I get it. I agree with that concept, but I need something to focus my attention to make me want more. And there's literally nothing that makes me want to pick up more of these books, of this title specifically. Now, I've only read this one. I think I've heard people say that as the story goes along, as would be the case, you get to kind of get into what the narrative is and what the writer's trying to show you and tell you, and it starts making more sense and becomes a more cohesive overall story. I get it. I respect that. But again, you've only got a couple of pages to keep my attention, and I'm out. I'm not picking up another one. If I find more of these for really cheap for purposes of the channel, I'll probably pick them up and see where it goes, maybe, but I'm just not into it. I don't know. The designs are boring. The art's boring. The storytelling's boring. The structure is boring. Just not there. And it's an X-Men book, man. It should be way better than this. So I don't know. I'd be curious to hear all of your thoughts on this and what y'all think about it. But yeah, that's all I got for this one. Let me know what you think about it. And I appreciate you watching as always. Thank you so much. And I'll see you next time.